We will continue on with today's post-race media availability for the 16th annual Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles 400. And we're joined by the winning crew chief of today's race, Cole Pearn, number 78, Furniture Row, Denver Mattress Toyota for Furniture Row Racing. The third victory and 13th top 10 finish in 2016 for the 78. Cole, this team had to overcome some adversity today. Can you walk us through that adversity and how you did overcome that?
Yeah, that was kind of wild. Didn't really expect that to happen. We had the inside the right front unravel there right when we were running the 48 back down for the lead, and we were just really fortunate. We had a really good car. I mean, we were able to get back through and get the lucky dog, which was huge, and then got back on the lead lap, and then we had that deal with the 4 there. I still don't know what that was about, and had some left rear damage, which slowed us up for a bit. But then once we got that back, the speed kind of came back, and we just kept plugging away. I mean, I feel bad for the 24. I don't think there was any way we were going to get them, but we've been on the other side of that a lot, and just credit to the pit crew for getting us off pit road first there, and Martin did a hell of a job on the restart. Good
deal. We'll open the floor for questions. If you have a question, please raise your hand. We'll start with Nick, and we'll go back to Kyle, and then up to Tim.
Nick DeGreen, Motorsport.com. Cole, at the end of the race there, was your strategy dependent on whether Chase was going to pit or not, or did you want those fresh tires no matter what?
I think we wanted the fresh tires, no matter what. We talked for a while about doing the opposite, but I think with the amount of laps everyone had on the tires was going to be the right call, and it's just nice having faith in your pit crew and faith in them to hit it on the right time, and that makes those decisions so much easier.
Go to Tim next.
That was partly mine, but in your history, I mean, do you have like a card saying, okay, let's do it if so many come in or so many don't? You're so far up in front there, you almost have to make the move first. What's the plan?
Yeah, I mean, you talk about all those scenarios. Obviously it's harder more in the as it gets down, there's less laps. If there's 10 laps to go or something like that, and you get 20 laps on the tires, it's a lot easier call. But I think as much fall off as we were seeing today, it definitely it made it easier to come and get tires.
Additional questions for Cole here in the deadline room. We'll go to Kenny.
Kenny Bruce with NASCAR.com. Cole, the early tire issue that you guys had you seen anything before that, or did you guys see anything after that? Because there were a lot of long green flag runs, it seemed like.
Yeah, I don't know. We never, all through practice or anything like that, it felt like we were pretty conservative and, not really worried about being over cambered. And I know we were higher on air pressure than some others, so I don't think it was anything that related. It just came unraveled on the, on that dual zone tread on the inside. The harder compound came off it. So I guess they saw a couple other tires that came down and told us that, in a certain sequence number that had issue. And unfortunately, we had one set of them on there near the end, that second to last run before we pitted with 2 to go. So I was pretty nervous at that point when they came down and told us, and said, don't put these codes on if you don't have to, and we had them on the car at that point. So it was that was a little bit stressful, but luckily they were able to hold on.
Additional questions for Cole? I do have one question, Cole. Now that you've locked yourself into the next round of the chase, how does that impact your strategy going forward as we head to New Hampshire and Dover the next 2 weeks?
Oh, you still got to go plug away and have clean weeks, and if you're fortunate enough to get wins, you keep potential other people from getting in. So it's you still got to go and race hard for sure, and it's hard to turn it off and on in the sport. So we'll definitely keep plugging away. But it's such a swing event. So that caution doesn't come out, we run second. We got to be stressed pretty hard the next 2 weeks, and now we get breathe a little bit easier, and and I think the second round really bodes really well for us. We got strong tracks in that round, so hopefully we can prepare for that and be in good shape when they come.
Good deal. Well, congratulations again on the win, and good luck next week in New Hampshire.
Thank you.
We're going to continue on with our race winners press conference here for the 16th annual Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles 400, and we're joined by team owner Barney Visser of the number 78 Furniture Row, Denver Mattress Toyota. Barney, glad you can join us for one of these. That's good to have you here. Was there any doubt that you were going to attend today's race, or?
Well, there was some doubt when I attended that we would win, but other than that.
Good deal. We're going to open the floor for questions. If you have a question for Mr. Visser, please raise your hand. We will get a wireless microphone to you. We'll start here in the middle with Bob.
Bob Parker, ESPN. You've been through some of these where you haven't won and you've kind of get your way through on points. How nice is it to have a win and kind of know you have a couple weeks to breathe easy?
You know, I guess that's probably a better question for the team. I don't think they're going to let up at all. They enjoy being in victory lane just a little bit too much, and they work too hard on the cars to back off at all in the next two races. And Martin enjoys running up front. He's pure athlete, and this is what he does it for.
Go to your left to Kenny.
Kenny Bruce with NASCAR.com. Barney, as your team has had to build up and get competitive to be able to run with these teams, do you feel like now that you're living a dream, you have to pinch yourself to believe that all this is happening?
That's a pretty good question. Yeah, I do feel like I'm living a dream, but that's why we do it. Most of the other things that I've done in life have been a little bit like this, but nothing right to the very top of the best racing in the world here. So very exciting. I have to thank Toyota and Martin. Like I said, I think he's pure athlete. He drove for a little bit less this year than I think a lot of the drivers in his class have, and he did it because he wanted to be here, and I can't thank him enough for all that.
Any additional questions? Well, Barney, congratulations on the win, and go out and celebrate this one.
Thank you.
Take care.
All right, we are now joined by the winner of today's Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles 400, Martin Truex Jr., who also now advances to the round of 12 in the chase for the NASCAR Sprint Cup. Martin, why don't you just talk about that right there, advancing to the next round?
Well, we did what we came here to do, so that always feels good when you accomplish your goals. And we had a good weekend here with our Furniture Row Toyota. Worked really hard on our car throughout practice, on race runs, and tried some new stuff this weekend, and really felt like throughout the weekend we were getting the car feeling really good for the race trim. So it was a good weekend for us. Really today was a great day for us on the racetrack. We had to overcome some adversity, obviously, and that was tough. But really proud of our team for everybody sticking together, everybody keeping their heads down, and never quit until it was over. And today was obviously a big win for us, but just excited for everybody. I mean, this is what we came here to do, and it was cool to be able to put it out there and make it happen.
All right, we'll now open up to questions for Martin. Please raise your hand. We'll get a mic to you. We'll start with Jeff Jordan up here in the front.
You crazy.
Jeff Gluck from USA Today. Martin, you've now won as many races this year as you did in your previous career combined.
Yep.
Obviously, you've still had bad luck this year at times, but does this finally feel like the year where everything is coming together in how you want it to be?
Well, without a doubt, it's the best team I've ever had. I think it's the best position I've ever been in. I really feel like we have what it takes to win this championship. I felt like we had the same thing last year, but we didn't have the race cars. We didn't have the speed we have now, and that's really taken us to another level. So, there's been a few years where I should have won multiple races, but I've never been in a position where I feel like we can go anywhere and win. And right now, I feel like any racetrack, any weekend, anywhere in the country, we can win. And it's just so much fun to go to the racetrack and have that feeling and have that much confidence in your team and what you're doing, and having that much confidence in yourself as a driver is the ultimate goal. And so it feels so good. I'm so proud of everyone and thankful. And we've got 2 weeks now to just try to keep the momentum going. We have no pressure on us. Hopefully, we'll be able to get a couple more trophies, and and then get ready for round 2.
Jordan Bianchi, SBNation.com. Martin, you had some trouble today, some bad luck there with its front tire. It's kind of your season and went away. When you had that issue, were you able to kind of draw on the previous experiences this year to overcome that, or what was the mindset there?
You know, the mindset was, all right, this isn't good. This is bad. I really wish this didn't happen, but it did. And how are we going to overcome it? I mean, that's all you can do in that point in time is say, okay, where are we at? You know, where's the leader? What do I need to do? You know, Cole kept me updated on where the leader was, who was the first car lap down, where I had to get to, and you know, just kept pushing, just kept my head down and kept digging, and you know, eventually got back on the lead lap. And then it was, you know, and then the challenge was, okay, how are we going to get up through traffic? You know, it wasn't easy to pass out there, but our car was really good in the long runs, and that's where we were able to make time. And so it was trying to be patient on the short runs, on the restarts, try to keep my tires under me and wait for those guys to start fading, and then make my move. And that's what I did all day long, and it worked out.
Martin, over here, Tim Cronin, Joliet Herald News. Was it a plan to automatically go for tires with the stop at the end, and once the restart happens, is it automatically you go to the high side?
Good question. When the caution came out, Cole said, now what do we do? And I said, we just ran a long way. We get tires. So, I mean, obviously that was the right idea, the right call, because everybody took tires except for, you know, 3 guys. And, you know, they were sitting ducks. So, you know, getting 4 tires was a great call. The pit crew had a great stop at the end, which we really needed. You know, getting that start, that 4th position on the outside, I think was the key to winning. Making the move to the outside was just what I was presented with. That was the only move I could make, and fortunately we were able to make it work.
We'll go to Bob, and then over to Kenny, and then Tom.
Bob Pockris, ESPN. I'm curious what this win means in the sense of the fact that if you'd finished second, I assume you still would have felt like, you know, hey, you're great speed, great chase contender. So what does this win mean kind of in the big picture?
Well, I think that really all it means is that we're guaranteed to make the second round, and the next 2 weeks we don't have to worry about flat tires or, you know, somebody running into us and wrecking us, you know, getting caught by a caution when you're pitting, things like that. I mean, we don't have to worry about the things that we can't control, and that's what gives you the most anxiety in these situations when you're in the chase and you have three round eliminations. So we don't have to deal with that for 2 weeks, and all we have to focus on is going to the racetrack and trying to continue to do a great job and win some more races. So that's our goal right now.
We'll go to Kenny, Tom, and then Nick.
Kenny Bruce with NASCAR.com. Martin, Barney called you a pure athlete, and he also said that you drove for a little bit less this year than you probably could have, and you did it because you wanted to be there. Can you kind of address that?
Well, it's not something I normally talk about, but you know, since he brought it up, you know, Barney's put a lot into his race team over the years, obviously, and you know, seeing Furniture Row in that race car each and every year, that means, you know, that's Barney's race car, and Barney's the one funding it. So, you know, he had to change some things, you know, in the way he was running his race team, and he asked me, you know, if I would, you know, kind of not take the hit, but you know, be the one that took a little bit of a hit for the team to make sure we could keep the competition up and make sure we could continue to get the things we needed to be competitive and win races and hopefully go after a championship. So, you know, there was other opportunities that were out there, but you know, I believe that this is the best team I've ever had. This is my best opportunity to win races, and we've proven that. And it's my best opportunity, and really, you know, only my second opportunity since last year to go after a championship, and that's something I wasn't willing to get rid of or throw away. So, made the commitment to Barney that we were going to do it, and we were going to work together and make it work for everybody.
We'll go to Tom and then Nick.
Thanks, Sam. Hey, Martin, Tom Jensen, FoxSports.com. Congratulations.
Thank you.
You seem to have a year with like incredible highs and lows, even in the same races. You know, you had the tire go bad today. You have the caution come out of nowhere. You win. How do you handle the sort of the emotional ups and downs, especially now that the playoffs are here?
Well, I can tell you I've had a lot of practice at it, and it hasn't just been this season. It's been honestly, my whole entire racing career. I mean, I can tell you, you know, back when I ran Busch North cars, you know, out of my dad's shop, and it was, you know, 3 of us working in the shop, that I dealt with some crazy things happening. So I've had a lot of practice at it. I think that, you know, my approach to it really changed 2 years ago when Sherry, you know, got diagnosed with cancer and had to go through all those things. My approach to how I dealt with those things changed, and I think made me a better driver. But I think at the end of the day, I've been through a lot. You know, I think the only way to get through those type of things is to have experience with it and kind of learn how to deal with it and understand that, hey, this isn't the end of the world, and we can overcome it. So that's what we did today, and that's what you have to do. I mean, what is the alternative? You know, so that's what we did, and glad we were able to make it all work today.
We'll go to Nick and then Jerry.
Nick DeGroot, Motorsport.com. Martin, can you go back to the incident with Kevin Harvick and tell me what led up to that and why you thought it was intentional?
Well, nothing led up to it. I mean, you know, we hadn't been around each other all day, really. I'd passed him once earlier. You know, I had newer tires. He was lapped. I was racing. That was after I had a flat, and I was racing to get my lap back. And then we were, you know, he was behind me under on a restart, probably 15 laps or so into a run. He got underneath me, and we come off at 2, and we're going down a backstretch, and he just hit me in the left rear as we were going straight for no reason. So the reason I thought it was intentional is because we were on the straightaway, and typically it's really easy not to run into somebody's left rear on the straightaway. And so, you know, as far as I could tell, he did it on purpose. And, you know, all I can do, I guess, is assume that and wait for him to tell me otherwise.
Thanks.
We'll go to Jerry and then Tony.
Jerry Jordan, Performance Racing Network, Kicking the Tires. Harvick made trophies an issue last week. When he
Made what?
Made trophies an issue last week when he talked about Keelan. You got a pretty cool trophy today. Any plans for that? What do you think of that?
I think I'm going to put that trophy in my shop because we have like a little store set up in there at Martin Truex Jr. Motorsports, and we have a lot of families and kids and stuff come by, and it'd be cool to kind of set up a little deal in the opening there for them to come in and get their picture taken with it. So I think they would enjoy that, and that's kind of what I thought while I was standing next to it out there, and somebody asked me that. So we're going to do that for sure.
Go ahead, Tony.
Tony Baranek with the Chicago Tribune. Martin, were you going to catch Chase in those final 5 laps, or did the shredded tire from McDowell save the day when your shredded tire almost ruined your day?
Well, first let me say this. I've been dominating races before, had big leads, had the caution come out, and come off pit road second, third, whatever, lose the race. So first off, I want to say I feel for Chase. I know what he's going through. He did a great job. I wasn't going to catch him. You know, I mean, I was catching him, but I was not catching him enough to pass him in 5 more laps. So I know what he's going through, but obviously, you know, he did a good job, and they were really fast today, and we had to come from behind. But no, to answer your question straight up, I don't think we were going to be able to pass him unless he got loose or made a mistake. We weren't catching him quick enough. That last run, I got pretty loose for some reason, and having trouble getting off the corner, so I was really struggling to run him down.
Over to your far left, Martin.
Zach Worrell, Butler University. Martin, were you surprised by the speed that the Hendrick cars showed today, considering they hadn't showed it much this season?
Not really. What? I mean, it's a Chase, a 48 car. I mean, what do you expect, right?
Was that the thought all along, is that they would pick up as the Chase came along?
They lay in the weeds, a sandbag, say, oh, man, the Chevys are struggling. Toyotas are too fast. You got to take something from them, and here they come. So that's just how they play the game.
Do we have any final questions for Martin? All right, Martin. Well, congratulations on the win and advancing to the next round of the Chase.
Thanks, guys. Have a good one. Yeah.
We will continue on with our post-race media availability, and we are joined now by Chase Elliott, driver of the number 24 Napa Auto Parts Chevrolet for Hendrick Motorsports. Chase, you did just about everything you could to get that win today in that car. what was going through your mind then when that final caution came out?
Expected. I mean, we've all watched this stuff long enough. We know that these races don't go green that long typically, and we know that we see late race cautions way more often than not. That's a part of racing, from short track racing all the way up to this stuff. I've learned over the years, and you just got to expect it from my seat, from the crew chief seat, from the pit crew's perspective. You just got to be ready for it, you know, embrace it when it happens, and suck it up and try to figure out how to make it happen after it does.
Okay, we're going to open the floor for questions. If you have a question for Chase, please raise your hand, and we'll get a microphone to you. We'll start with Tom Jensen on your left.
Hey, Chase, Tom Jensen, FoxSports.com. You've been close a couple times in races before. You seem like this is a little bit easier outcome to accept than what happened at Michigan. Is that true when it's just sort of a late caution and more random thing than a mistake?
No, there is no easy outcome. So you know, it's unfortunate. You hate to have it happen as you get faced with these situations more than once. I think you learn from situation to situation. But like I said, I felt like we did a good job as a team today trying to control the things that we could control. And you can't control when a caution is going to come out. Granted, you can expect one a lot of the time, but you can't control when it's going to happen, and you certainly can't control how many guys are going to stay out on tires and try to make something happen there at the end of a race. So that's just a part of life and part of racing.
Additional questions for Chase? Well, Chase, best of luck next week in New Hampshire, and good luck.